Apple, you need to hear this. You are starting to look awfully like BlackBerry, and if you don't change now, you will share the same terrible fate as them. You're stagnating. iPhone users are paying more for fewer upgrades. If this keeps up, they'll be stuck with an outdated, overpriced product while competitors will start to eat your lunch. I mean, remember BlackBerry? Having one was the ultimate status symbol of its time, much like the iPhone is today. In 2009, BlackBerry owned nearly half the market. By 2016, it had less than 1%. It didn't just decline, it collapsed. That is why I'm here. Right now, the iPhone is showing massive cracks in its market share. Much of it is because it's becoming slower to innovate, resist industry shifts, and over-relies on lock-in ecosystem practices. These are the same pillars that crumbled BlackBerry into ruins. If the iPhone doesn't do a 180, it will be the sequel to the BlackBerry. For those of you who need a recap, BlackBerry was the most dominant phone of its time. They had a lot of what the iPhone has right now. Market dominance, a preferred messaging app called BlackBerry Messenger, and a brand loyalty that was unshakable. And even with all of this, it fell. And we want to know why. Why did it fall if it was so good? So let's take a look. First of all, arrogance and hesitancy to adapt were the cardinal sins of BlackBerry. Their Achilles heel was ignoring the revolutionary technology of touchscreen. When Apple first launched the iPhone in 2007 with an all-touchscreen design, BlackBerry laughed at them instead of taking them more seriously. They didn't know it back then, but they were laughing at the product that would replace them. Blinded by arrogance, they believed people needed physical keyboards and would never go for touchscreens. It was only until their sales fell that they tried to catch up, but it was already too late. Their second mistake was underestimating the app revolution, which Apple fully embraced at the time. Instead, BlackBerry wanted to be closed off in their own ecosystem, refusing to embrace third-party developers. However, this was a costly mistake, as apps were and are one of the most revolutionary components of the modern-day smartphone. Without apps, a smartphone is simply a fancy calculator. And lastly, they relied too much on brand loyalty. BlackBerry assumed their customers would never leave. They believed BBM, their security, and physical keyboards was the way to maintain their grip on the market. But sadly for them, when better options appeared, their customers left without a trace. Those once devoted loyalists became Apple fanboys. Fast forward to today, and Apple is sitting on a throne that BlackBerry once held, and history is starting to repeat itself. You see, iPhone sales are stagnating, and competitors like Samsung and Google are gaining major ground with foldables and AI-driven innovation. The smartphone market is shifting once again, and Apple's dominance is starting to severely weaken. Apple needs to take a serious look at the three major red flags that might determine if they fall like BlackBerry or rise to the occasion. Red flag number 1, ignoring industry shifts. BlackBerry laughed at the idea that touchscreens, the market shift they ignored, was ever going to be a thing. Apple is ignoring two key shifts, foldables and AI. You see, Samsung, Google, and others are already leading in foldable technology, but Apple is not doing anything. They are staying behind, thinking it is just fast fashion. And every day they let by with inaction is another day competitors gain significant ground on their market. Like it or not, Google's AI features are miles ahead of Siri. Pixel's AI-driven features are innovating in ways Apple just doesn't have. Apple Intelligence, still vaporware. Google's AI, already answering calls, summarizing conversations, and removing unwanted objects from photos. Apple isn't just staying behind, they're stuck. Apple is years behind, and every day they wait is another day the iPhone grows closer to being a relic. Trust me, they do not want to miss this like Microsoft missed the mobile era and lost a market that they could have had now. And right now, Apple's biggest updates are just ABB. A bit better camera, a bit faster chip, a bit better screen. That's not innovation, that's maintenance. Red flag number 2, over-reliance on ecosystem lock-in. BlackBerry thought BBM would keep users forever, and it is awfully familiar to what Apple has with iMessage, AirDrop, and the Apple ecosystem. But with the introduction of Google's Rich Communication Service, or RCS, iMessage is starting to get drastically weaker. RCS is a new technology that will revolutionize texting as we know it. It means no more cross-platform discrimination. Eventually, Apple will be forced to adopt RCS, and if they don't, they will be left in the past, just like BlackBerry. Now, moving on to AirDrop, another Apple ecosystem lock-in, is also starting to weaken. AirDrop alternatives are emerging fast. For Apple, this means one less leverage they can use, one less feature they use to forcefully keep people in their ecosystem. Take for example, Samsung's Galaxy ecosystem. It is no longer just an alternative. For some users, it's a superior experience, seamless device switching, universal copy-paste, and better Windows integration. It makes Apple walled garden feel more like a trap. After all, most people will have PCs, not overpriced Macs. The sooner people realize they don't need Apple's ecosystem anymore is the day they find one less reason to stay. Red flag number 3. Innovation is slowing down. Every iPhone launch feels repetitive, a copy-paste, maybe a slightly better camera, a new port, but no real breakthroughs, not like before. Compare that to their competitors. Samsung's foldables are introducing new form factors, basically a new way to experience the smartphone and pushes smartphone engineering to a new level. Google's AI-driven phones are enhancing automation and bringing us closer to the futuristic movie technology we envy so much. Apple's last true innovation was almost 10 years ago, the 2016 launch of their AirPod. While Apple has made impressive stride with Apple Silicon and M chips, these advancements are just efficiency and performance boost, rather than groundbreaking, industry-shaking innovations they so desperately need. And we all know what happens when a tech company stops innovating. They become relics. Now let's be clear, Apple is still incredibly powerful. They have 3 things going for them: the world's most loyal fan base, enough cash to fund the innovation they so desperately need, and a dominant share of the premium smartphone market. BlackBerry never had that, and never had the same level of cultural influence like Apple does. But let's remember what happened to BlackBerry's loyal fanbase. They couldn't resist major industry shifts forever. Without innovation, even Apple's strongest supporters will start to look elsewhere. History proves that no company is immune to failure. Nokia and BlackBerry were once industry giants, yet their reluctance to adapt led to their demise. If Apple fails to innovate, it risks following their footsteps. To stay on top, Apple must act now or risk fading into irrelevance, just like BlackBerry. Now, if you enjoy this video so far, please drop a like and share this video with your friends. Going back, if Apple is serious about wanting to avoid becoming another BlackBerry, here's what they need to do. Number 1, go all in on AI. Siri is light years behind Google and ChatGPT. When AI-driven assistants become the norm, Apple must lead, not play catch-up. Number 2, stop ignoring foldables. Samsung and Google are pioneering foldables. Apple has zero presence in this space. When foldables become mainstream, Apple will fall behind just like BlackBerry did with touchscreens. Number 3, make the ecosystem more powerful, not restrictive. Apple's lock-in should be a bonus, not a crutch. Instead of forcing users to stay, Apple should enhance cross-platform integration, making the experience so good that people want to remain in the ecosystem, not because they have to, but because it is the best of the best in the market. And number 4, take risk again. The iPhone nuked the smartphone industry. The App Store transformed how software is distributed and monetized. AirPods reshaped the wireless audio market. So, Apple needs to remember why they are at the top. The question then becomes, can they do it again? They attempted this with the Apple Vision Pro, their highly anticipated AR/VR headset. But after the initial buzz, it quickly lost momentum. The high price tag and lack of killer application meant it didn't revolutionize the market as expected. If Apple wants to lead, they need something that truly reshapes the industry, something transformative, not just another expensive gadget that fades into the background. Whether it's game-changing AI-first software approach, a truly seamless mixed reality device, or a foldable iPhone that redefines mobile design, Apple has to take a leap forward at this very moment and stop playing it safe. Else, it will be their undoing. BlackBerry once believed it was too big to fail. They had the biggest market share, the most loyal users, and the best business phones. Then, the iPhone came, and the industry moved on without them, without a thought. BlackBerry thought it was untouchable, until it vanished. Apple sits on that same throne. Will they wake up, or are they laughing at their own obituary? Apple's future is uncertain, but one company's dominance is unquestionable. That company is BlackRock. Click here to find out why BlackRock is more powerful than we ever imagined and how exactly they became the emperor of the world. Or don't.